Hey, what's up guys, it's T-Bone here and welcome back to another episode of playing Legendary Game of Heroes. So the event War for the Skies has just started, and what I want to do in today's episode is to just talk about the few teams that I've built based on what we talked about in the previous episode, and we're going to put it in practice today. So we're going to talk about four teams here. The Earth one, the Earth team here using Mystics as well as the Earth Gods cards from the World Vision event, as well as a fire team that features Domi, Thula, and also Idalia for additional power gems. We're going to skip this right here, and we're going to talk also about the support card using the two Orsang cards as the support card, and also using one Wella as the feature card, and then having Soulless as the leader, Morte Thornos as a support card to see how we do there. And finally, we are going to talk about the main event deck here. I do have the full deck here. I'm going to give a quick review of it and how it works, how it plays out, and also we can see how much damage it can deal. So let's get started with using our first Earth team here. And to start, what we're going to do is we're just going to go against a guild boss right now just to test out. So this is a level 95 guild boss, 123 million health. Let's go ahead and do a quick battle here and see how you can actually play this team. And so there's a couple of things. One, Patchy Sept is a 3-turn gem spawner, so that you can basically, you want to just keep his about skills going at all times if you can. And the second thing is you also get additional gems by doing attacks with Ophrah, so you're going to really get a lot of a lot of gems here, and because of the power gems as well, so whenever you can, just basically match power gems to get more damage. You're getting the power gems from the relics, and one is from the Mystic relic that I have, and the other is from the God relic for the Earth event there. And then also keep in mind that Harun also will generate power gem 4 when his battle skill is available. You can have it every 2 turns. And so just kind of keep this train going really is the way to play this deck here. And if you can match the do power gem swaps to increase the amount of damage that you deal per turn, because you're getting more gems back every single turn, and so you don't really want to waste that. And if you can't, then you can save it if you can't actually match anything. But right now you can see that I can just continue to swap, and let's try and speed this up a little bit. We have 3 seconds to go here, so let's go ahead and do this. Okay. And actually this already filled up the whole board there. So I think what we can do now is we can actually go ahead and activate Harun's skill here. With 100 intensity, we're going to be able to get actually 4 power gem force there, and we can see how much damage it can deal here. So I actually dealt a little bit more damage when I was play testing this a little bit, but right now this actually allowed us to deal 84 million damage with this team right there. I think actually that's not too bad with 1 key as an as an attack. As an alternative, if you do have this card, I would also recommend putting in a Earth. Let's go ahead and change this to Commander. If you have Vulcan, I would actually highly recommend putting him in here, because Vulcan is a commander card that boosts all Earth warriors, and it's a water gem destroyer. So this card will be really useful for this deck, and it's a demigod card, so that you can also put in another relic in there. When I changed the deck to use this as a leader, I was able to get more damage, but putting 2 Ophrahs, 2 Guru, and 1 Harun is viable, especially just using 1 key. You can still deal around 100 to 120 million damage with that. Now let's go into the fire team. So let's say if you're running a Domi now, I actually did try to do a play test using 3 Thulas. It didn't work quite as well as I had hoped, because I wasn't able to convert all of Thula's it's already defeated. I wasn't able to convert all of Thula's power gems, because it was actually creating light power gems, and I was able to get the intensity for Domi up to 175, because I have all relics that boost my honor intensity, and it still wasn't quite enough to convert them all. So I decided to put in Idalia instead. It's also a commander card, and it just straight up creates a power gem 3. So I just figured it's one less thing I have to worry about converting, and it's a card. It's a power gem that I can take advantage of. Now, Thula. The way that you play Thula is you want to try and do 3 matches if you can, to actually power up her battle skill, her passive. But what I'm doing right now is I'm actually waiting just a couple of turns so that I could actually use Domi more. And I think what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to go ahead and activate skills now, though, because I'm afraid that this Domi team doesn't have quite enough health. And as you can see, I only converted 1, and I couldn't actually pair up the power gem 3 next to one of my power gems there. But let's see how much damage you can do here. So let's see, 23. So that was about 60 million or so. Okay. Not quite as high as I would have liked either. But let's see how much here. So that's about another 10 here or so. So on this attack, let's see how much total damage we dealt. So this one was 79 with an overkill of 9. So this one I'm still experimenting with. We talked about it, but you can see that Domi can't quite he just can't quite actually deal convert enough gems to really make it worth it. And so that's why I changed it out to Idalia, but I'm still gonna experiment a little bit. So those are the 2 teams here. It's usable, I think, but they don't have the affinity bonus, obviously, and so you're going to be at a disadvantage. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch gears. I'm going to use one of the teams that we talked about, using Soulless. Now Soulless as a leader is really good because he boosts light warriors, and it'll give you a full heal plus 2 turn delay, and you'll get a bonus here of counterspell to dispel blind. And so for the relics here, I'm using a human relic plus a demigod relic, 2 demigods here because of the Thronos, Morte Thronos, and then Exultant Saber, and I do have an Alien Spear, but you can add another Exultant Saber here to as well, and it will be okay. So let's see how we can play this out. So this boss actually will cast blind, so it's nice that Soulless will actually dispel it. So there's a couple things. One is you can play this until you actually revive, and then use Soulless to then do a full heal. But in general, you're really just trying to activate your Orsang's ability. So Orsang will create power gems as a battle skill. But if you have if you've attacked 3 times, it also generates additional. It also generates a power gem 2 on the board. And so really what you're gaining here is you're gaining the additional power gems. And also, as long as there's a power gem 2 on the board, you're going to create three power gems when you activate. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to wait until I revive, which I did, and now I'm going to use Soulless. And so now that I've used Soulless, I can go ahead and basically just kind of continue to do my attacks here. But I'm going to actually go ahead and use this. Really what I was trying to do is I was trying to increase the total intensity for Morte Thronos so that I can destroy more gems and then have more light gems drop down for my team. So we can see the total damage here is, I think, a little over 350 million with that. And so Soulless, I didn't even use up all of Soulless's turn delay there. So, I could have a lot more turns in there, and also having that revive help. So when I revive, you notice I didn't actually gain any health, but I did get a couple of power gems there. And so that's how you can use that team. Now, finally, what we're going to do is let's go into a solo boss here, and let's use the full team here. Now, I just want to call out a disclaimer here. I'm really just doing this. I want to focus this on the mechanics of the deck here. I do like it. I think that it's actually a little bit easier to use than the light Olympian team that I also have. Pound for pound, I think they actually deal around the same amount of damage, given that this has a has a additional commander bonus in this particular event. I think in any other event, those two will probably be pretty similar. And I don't have any relics right now, but this is one of those decks I think that you don't actually really need 5 event relics. I think having none here actually works out okay for me. And the reason is because it's not really an intensity dependent deck, and that's what I like about it. You don't really need the intensity, so you can really do a lot with it. But the disclaimer I want to have here is I'm focusing really just on the I'm showcasing this because I like the mechanics and because I like what it can do. This is not an advertisement for you to go and buy a full deck because it can be expensive. So this is a choice that I want to make sure that you don't feel like I'm advertising and saying you have to go and get this. But I just do like the fact that it's a deck that doesn't have quite as much of the dependency on intensity, and it's a different way of playing. So having said that, let's go ahead and do this here. So you can see the relics here. I do have an older one here. This is a unpowered gauntlet. I have never been able to power it up, and I don't think I ever will. But it does give me a 10% bonus for 3 turns, I believe, or for the first 5 turns. So for the first five turns, I do get a 10% attack bonus. And given that it's a, I think I can finish in about 3 or 4 turns, I don't actually have a problem. And then one last thing here. Orsang has a lower base attack, but if you wanted to awaken it, you can see it's actually pretty cheap to awaken. So the first time to awaken, it will only cost you 100 mana, and the second time awakening will be 112. So you can easily awaken the card twice if you wanted to, and we can talk about where else you can get it. So I actually, awakened it 5 times, and this I believe is still cheaper than trying to awaken a regular card, because you can see awakening a 6th time will cost 1700 mana. So it's not as expensive as we originally thought when we first heard the news, and it has a pretty good boost of of the stats. So I think that's kind of interesting there. So just wanted to showcase that. Now, to play this full deck, this is sort of how you would play. Now, like I mentioned before, it's not intensity dependent, and you don't really need a full deck, and this is the reason why. So you can see all I'm doing is I'm just kind of slowly matching my gems right now. What I'm going to do is I'm just, biding my time. I just need to match the gem. I just need to match light gem 3 times to power up everything. And what I want to do here, though, is I actually want to have less light gems if I can, because I want to destroy as many non-light gems as I can. So now I'm going to activate the Master Collection card first, and then I'm going to activate the Battle Skill for the Ultra Rare, and then I'm going to activate Orsang, which is going to create 3 power gems every time because of the additional power gems on the board, and the Ultra Rare and the Master Collection card, they both mimic. And so I have practically a full board of power gems here, and I'm going to go ahead and do the power gem swap. And you can see how much damage it deals here. So over 4 billion damage on 1 key based on that mechanic there. And really what I've done is I've just tried to maximize the total number of power gems I can create by waiting 3 turns. Because every 3 turns, or every 3 hits, I should say, I'll maximize the number of power gems that Orsang creates. And by taking advantage of Mimic, that's where I can get the most number of power gems on the board. And so it's a very different play style than the Halloween type deck, where you're really trying to generate intensity. You're just counting the turns, but then because of the 7-turn cooldown, you have to do quick matches to try to get to the next set of full board of power gems. Whereas with this particular style of play, you can get this within every 3 turns, so you can sort of get this going. And I'm waiting to see what it'll be like when the Ascend the Legend bosses come on, and also with a non-affinity bonus, if I go against another color, how it will do. And so that's what I wanted to show for now in terms of the fights. Before I sign off, I just wanted to call out here Aegis Collection. This is where I'm saying if you wanted to get additional cards, Orsang cards for free without buying too many packs. You can see here, I believe at 5,000 rewards or tokens, you'll get one, and then you get another one at 20,000, and finally another one at 53,000. So I think that the first one should be relatively easy. You might be able to get the second one. This may or may not be something you'll be able to get to, but if you can, that'd be great, because that means you can get at least 3 Orsangs, and then a fourth one if you decide to purchase from the packs. So awakening it once or twice would be a good idea if you have enough of them. I think running 2 of them would be good, but if not, you can also run 3. So if you remember one of the decks I showed earlier, had Wella. You don't really have to have her. You can also easily swap her out for a third Orsang. And so I think I just want to make sure I can find it here. Right, so you can actually run a team like this and still have really good success, because Soulless will give you additional turns and the full heal there. And so that's all for today's episode. Please give me feedback. Let me know if this is something that you find useful, and let me know your thoughts. I'd like to hear what decks you're running, what options you're going with, and what ideas you have, and we can brainstorm on some of this as well. So thanks a lot for your time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.